Hello everyone. Welcome to a video. This is one of these videos where I just talk about something, you know, if I have something to talk about, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of shit to talk about lately in this community, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's like good and bad because I get to make videos, but it also means there's drama, which is like, I don't know. I don't like drama. I just like talking to people. I like talking to people, but I there's no reason to talk to people when there's no drama. So it's like it's good and bad, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this video is gonna be about foot pedals and my opinions on them. Uh, I want to highlight that I said opinions, and not facts. This is really like what I think and not what is like absolutely correct. And I want everybody watching to know that nothing that I say should be taken like literally or I guess not literally is not the right word, but like nothing I say should be taken as like I'm saying that that's the truth and it's the only truth. You're welcome to think whatever you want, and I want to welcome any opinions. Um, and before I get into this video, I want to give a thank you to official Daku because they made a video on this before. And their personal opinion is that using foot pedals is cheating. Um, and I disagree with that statement or that view, but I don't want to like give or send hate to them at all. I'm being genuine when I say that. Like I don't want to spread hate at all. I think that hate is the fucking like biggest problem with modern like society and the internet nowadays. I just really my only goal making this video is to like have a constructive conversation, and I want to also just like convey my view and opinion, I guess. Like I just want yeah. You know what I'm saying. But yeah. So I basically just asked them if I could feature their video in my video, which to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna even do anyway because that would require editing and I'm fucking like stupid. Um but I'm probably still gonna like quote their points and things like that. So yeah, I just want to thank them for letting me, because I asked them permission before I like made this video because I didn't want to like um how do I explain it? I don't know, you get what I'm saying, but just like being disrespectful, I guess. Um so yeah. I do have like a Google Doc of things that I want to talk about, but they were kind of in relation to like when I was watching their video, and I don't really want to just react to their video. So it's kind of hard for me to relate them to just like when I have nothing to build off of. So I'm gonna like kind of find some timestamps like, or I guess not timestamps, but like during this video. And I also want to say that I've basically only watched part two of this like Cheetah Wars kind of thing that Daku's made, but um there are some of the points in this video that I disagree with. I should really probably watch part one if I'm being completely honest, but I feel like regardless of part one, I can still disagree with the points in this video because like the points in this video are still complete points that allow like counter argument. Like it's not like anything in any information in part one will like contribute or add on to the points that are in part two, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. I don't know how better to explain it, but what I'm disagreeing with here is not necessarily like every single argument that Daku may have on this particular topic, but it is related to the arguments that they portray in part two of their video on this topic. I just want to clarify that. So one thing that I want to talk about is I don't know. I should probably go into desktop capture here if I want to like make more sense. Uh, but yeah. Okay, wait. Let me go. Okay, that's good. So I'll bring this over here and let's go. Okay, so this post is something that they show, and it's like they talk about, for some reason it's like devs are not considering it cheating. And like, okay, I also forgot to mention something in the intro of this video that I am like a background. I am like a game developer and software developer. So I have kind of like this way of thinking about things that I feel like I can, you know, I don't want to say that I feel like I know better than like a typical player of what cheating should or shouldn't be, but like you get what I'm trying to say. Like I at least understand from a programming perspective like what should or like what is easily detectable and what isn't, at the very least. And I do want to give credit to Daku that this is a reasonable like thing to worry about because as like a game developer from an MMO perspective, macros and like artificial kind of inputs are by far the hardest method of cheating to detect like at all. Like macros are very difficult to detect. Um And you can imagine why. It's because it's literally just on the computer, you are like pretending to be inputting something, and it's not something that an anti-cheat can detect. Because from the game's perspective, you're simply just like pressing the same buttons, As opposed to like, in Minecraft, if you're using like a hacked client, it's very obvious because your game is modded, right? It's very different. But, this argument is the argument that like, I don't know, like a macro could be undetectable is very sound. So yeah, I just want to say that. Um, but yeah, this thread I should probably read over it again because I honestly I read it before, but I completely forgot what it says. Um, right, okay, this is the one that says that this is from a support manager. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be so honest. But it says that uh using foot pedals is not a violation of the rules. So um any software or hardware. So it's not automation, which is true. But I believe this point is like continued on later on in this particular video. So I don't know how much I want to say on this like particular post, but everything that is said in this video is sound. But I believe that 4G is a rule that goes beyond what is actually quoted here, if I can remember correctly. So I want to say that like everything in this post is fine apart from like I don't know, like I apologize if I'm just completely wrong about this, but I think that 4G was not, I don't know, I could be stupid. Or like something in rule 4 is also related to the foot pedals that isn't noted here. So yeah, I just also want to say that my perspective is that like foot pedals is just another piece of hardware that you can use to essentially left click, and it's not really like it's nothing different from using like a controller, for example, to play the game. In my opinion, it's really the exact same thing because it's just another hardware device, and um I would classify the software that lets you left click with it as like drivers, for example. So like for example, if you have a Logitech mouse, then Logitech G Hub is essentially equivalent to what you would use to like operate the foot pedal. And you could say that well like, both of them are capable of programming macros onto your hardware devices, but like that does not imply guilt or like suggest it. And I'll get into why later. Hold on. I should put this on another monitor so I can just see it because like it has all of my like points on it that I've just completely forgotten and yeah. So, okay. Oh, right. Okay, okay. Something I want to talk about here is also like the fact that like staff is like okay, I honestly understand from Daku saying here that or the way that Daku like okay, so Daku's like perspective, I apologize if I'm misrepresenting, but like the staff are obviously fine with it, right? So
Yes.
the thing is what Daku's saying is that it's against like the official rules, right? Which I get. But Another way that I see it, that you can see it if you want, is that like the staff members of the game decide like what's allowed and what's not. So if they say that something is allowed, then it is, right? And it's okay to do. Obviously using a foot pedal is something that's been nerfed, but it's not something that's been explicitly not allowed based on the new update, right? Like the new update very clearly was a nerf to foot pedals, but all it did was not allow you to place the hotbar on top of the run button. So it's not technically disallowing foot pedals, they're still allowed, but they're just not useful anymore, you know? Um, so in other words, what I'm saying is that like maybe like in my opinion, like the things that the staff say, or at least the things that are the staff say that are meant to be taken as literally and as like equivalent to the rules are equal to the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like if a staff says something, that's the person who bans you, and if they say it's allowed, they're not gonna ban you, right? That's how I see it. But I can totally understand the perspective of like seeing things literally just from the rules and taking that like to heart. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to like how do I explain it? Like devalue that kind of idea that the written rules are very important because they are, you know. But we're talking about like if the foot pedals are cheating or not, and it's like, yeah, I think what I just mentioned is an important factor to think of. Um, so yeah, also okay, the next point I think is about the foot pedal actually being faster, which is very interesting to me because I don't think that it's actually faster, but I kind of get where you're coming from, or I kind of get where Daku's coming from by saying that like, okay, look, it's like I want to completely like I know I'm gonna say this after before every fucking point because I don't know, I don't want any drama at all, but I like how do I explain it? Like this is just completely my view, but I just don't think that how do sorry. I'm just trying to think of how to word this. But it's like when you have a foot pedal, right, you're not actually changing any software inside of the game. And when you're doing hordes, nothing actually on a software side actually speeds up anything, right? So the only thing you save time by doing is by clicking faster or by like doing hordes more optimally. That is technically the only time save that you can possibly get, but it's still time save that's like not like actually related to the foot pedal, but rather how optimally you're playing. So for example, if you're on a mouse and keyboard, then there is no like optimization that is not available to you. The only thing with a foot pedal is that like you can allocate your time to other things apart from MMO. And obviously that's not an MMO advantage per se. It's just like very nice and convenient to have. Um, but I don't think it's actually related to the game at all. I think it's just like a different buff, I guess. Like it's not actually a game buff, you know? Like it's not gonna get you shinies quicker. It just lets you do your work while you're shiny hunting, you know? You get what I'm saying? Like it's just that's my opinion on it. Feel free to disagree, no hard feelings. And then yeah, that's about all I have to say about this point. I think. And then my next point on my document is like a remapping thing. If I can find it. I don't know, it's kind of hard to like keep all of my shit kind of like structured, I guess, when it's all like I wrote down these dot points while I was watching this video, and then I don't really want to watch the video in my own video, because it just feels like plagiarism. But my next point is that remapping is not macroing, which is like, like I don't know, you can disagree with that and it's like fine, but in my opinion, remapping is just like a one-to-one key substitution. So when you press a key, it does a different key. And I don't think that's macroing. I think that's just like remapping, you know. But macroing is when you press one key and it does multiple inputs, you know. That's what I think a macro is. And that's a very I think it's like a fairly widely accepted sort of definition. Um but again, you know, feel free to disagree. You know, it's not my place to tell you what to think. You can think what you want. This is just a video to give you what's inside my brain, you know? Like, but yeah, okay. So, um, oh, right, the next thing is like, okay, I remember I should probably just play some things from this video point at this point, but I really don't have like snippets or like, how do I explain it? Like if I start playing the video, it's just going to be talking about something random, but there are very specific things in my dot points that I am responding to, if that makes sense. So I don't want to like be looking through it because like I don't plan on editing this video because I'm too lazy, you know. So, you know, if I'm responding to anything that doesn't make sense, then just leave a comment and I will apologize. I'm sorry if I'm like, you know, going left field here. So I remember, right, okay, okay. So a point was that like so this rules point is actually kind of good. I like and like I get it. Um with 4G here, um hold on, fuck, what was I saying? Sorry. Okay. You may not exploit any errors in design or undocumented features of the game to gain an advantage over other users, blah 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 blah. Yep, all this stuff. I understand the point here, and the point is related to like overlaying your hotbar over the run button, right? When you're doing hordes. And I honestly understand this point, and it I agree with it, honestly. Like you should have never been able to overlay your hotbar over the run button. But my argument to this is that like how does this relate at all to actually using a foot pedal? Because people were doing this before foot pedals was even like a considered idea, you know? People were always doing this. People were always doing hordes by putting their hotbar over the run button, you know? It was always a thing. Um So yeah, that's basically my point for this. And then this 4G, rule 4G here is this is an example where I think that like this is an example of why I think that taking the words very literally is not a good idea. Uh and it I don't know, it's like half and half. It's like 50-50 in my head because like for this, any software or hardware which allows automated control of the game, okay, bro, like fucking name a software that is like a driver for any like keyboard or mouse that does not allow you to make macros. That is literally any driver software for any peripheral on your computer that is like allegedly not allowed, you know? Like I think that this rule is intended to be read with some degree of like common sense, you know? And I don't think that it's meant to be taken too literally. Like I understand that when you like down like I remember watching this video and they used the foot pedal and they downloaded drivers and it immediately gave them the option to do all that stuff. And I guess like I don't know, I have a Logitech mouse and it doesn't immediately when you use the mouse give you the option give you the like prompt to use macros, but it's still very easy to make macros with the same software. So I feel like how do I explain it? It's like I don't know. It's like giving a knife to someone, you know, they can do good or bad with it, and it's really just like the reason I'm talking about this is because I'm a game dev and like um this point is very like okay, if someone uses a macro or like a non-sophisticated kind of macro, especially slash bot slash autoclicker slash
Game
script, it is incredibly easy to detect because really what you're doing is you're just looking for like specific kind of, you know, like if somebody has repetitive sort of inputs, like for example, if you're in Petalburg and you're macroing Petalburg, you know, you might have some kind of script that's like you press A and D every kind of X interval, whatever. And like most MMO games will have anti-cheats that will like, and I'm like 99% sure that MMO would have this kind of anti-cheat because every MMO does. But like if you're making the same inputs on very similar kind of intervals, it will flag this kind of system. So, and like if you have this kind of macro anyway, then there is no reason to have a foot pedal because you're probably not making any inputs on any input device anyway. Like you're just doing nothing, right? Because it's a macro. So there's no reason to. You know what you get what I'm saying? So yeah, that is my opinion on that. Um and then okay. So let's see. And then also like um another another thing that I have is like just because the software is capable of like um having cheating methods or like just because the software is capable of cheating does not imply guilt from people who use it. I think that 99% of people who use this software or who use like the foot pedals were doing so with just the intent of kind of being more ergonomic, I guess, and kind of being able to focus on other things while they shiny hunt. But that's just my opinion. Um, and then let's see. Okay, let's go here. So this here is a post. Um, fuck, let me read this. So yeah, okay. Do not download software which has not been reviewed by the soft staff, whatever, all this stuff. So yeah, okay. I agree with this somewhat, but like, okay. So I feel like not enough context was given here, even though all the context is I'm not gonna say that not all of the context was given, but like the text that is highlighted here is clearly the text that like Daku wants you to read. I'm not saying that it's ill will from Daku. I want to preface that. I'm not saying it's ill will. I'm just saying that it's fair to highlight this because this is the most important text in the entire post. But I think that if you're watching this video, then reading the entire piece of text is very important because like it says here like um and I don't think this was intentional like misleading at all. I don't think that at all. But so what I got from this is like PokeMMO players have been targeted, blah 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 blah. If you're using third-party add-ons with PokeMMO add-ons, I want add-ons is a very important kind of word that's used here. You're risking your account. We do not endorse the usage of third-party add-ons. So yeah, software just been previously posted but updated may contain new forms of malware, blah 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 blah. We take blah 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 and everything, and it's attempting to verify and yep. So it's like clear that this post is like exclusively talking about software that is designed to be run alongside PokeMMO, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like mods, blah blah blah, like mods, fuck what else? Like encounter counters, like any software that is designed with the sole purpose of like being like going hand in hand with like the PokeMMO client, if that makes sense. So that's what they're talking about here. They don't want people's accounts to get hacked, because Pokemon players, obviously, it happens in MMOs all the time. Like people will make software for MMOs but they will actually be like things that will rat your fucking account and give it to the like developer or whatever, you know? So this here is what they're talking about, but this here is like the highlighted text by itself is quite vague because it just says that it's guidelines for handling third-party software and not like do not download software which has not been reviewed by the soft staff. And it kind of sounds like they're talking about just any software at all. Um which just isn't true. So in my opinion, like this post does not encompass software which affects the actual foot pedals because the software which lets you use the foot pedals is not Pokemon related software, it's just drivers that let you operate a hardware device, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my point. That's my opinion on this. Um, and then is there anything else? I actually don't know. I don't think there is, to be honest. Okay, yeah. No, I think the rest of this video is actually making very valid points, and it's that like the fucking like that like PokeMMO could be focusing on fixing other shit, which I completely agree with. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to, talk about this, and I'd want to like once again, I know I've said this like 10 billion times. I do not want any hate. I don't want to spread any hate. And like honestly, if you want to spread hate to people, then I hate you, bro. Like, come on. Please, can we just have like a civil kind of conversation about this kind of thing? Uh, but yeah, thank you very much if you're watching, and yeah, leave a like, I guess. I don't know, like I'm not a YouTuber, but yeah, have a good one.